morning presented to Council the proposals for the 2021 budget. But before presenting the proposal, we also presented the performance of the 2020 budget to July 2020. So just briefly, the performance of the FGM budget as of July for revenue was 68%. 68%. So it was we had a 68 revenue performance prorated to July. The performance of expenditure, on the other hand, was 92.3%, and that is to say salaries were fully paid, pensions were paid, debt service was made, as well as transfers that are classified as statutory. In presenting the budget 2020, we had to report to Council some slight changes that need to be made on the MTEF 2021 to 2023, which has since July been sent to the National Assembly by Mr. President. Specifically, the exchange rate is going to be changed from 360 that we initially presented and submitted to Council and to NAS up to 379. The reason why this is happening is due to the exchange rate movement that the CBN has put in place. And also there were some slight changes on miscellaneous revenue and signature bonuses after our interaction with DPR, which resulted in some increase in revenue. So the total budget proposal that is made for 2021 is to enable us to attain a more inclusive growth and also to achieve the key objectives of government, which include stimulating the economy, creating jobs, enhancing growth, and creating infrastructure investments, also promoting manufacturing and local production. The budget assumptions that were presented to Council today include: 1, crude oil price benchmark at $40 per barrel; 2, oil production at 1.86 million barrels per day; exchange rate of 379 naira to $1 US; 4, GDP growth target of 3%; and 5, inflation rate of 11.95%. We do expect that the Nigerian economy will recover to the path of growth early in 2021. So the total aggregate revenue that is projected for the 2021 budget is 7.89 trillion. And what is unique about the 2021 budget is that we have brought in the budgets of 60 government-owned enterprises. If you recall, in 2020, we brought in 10. Now we have brought in 60. But these 60 exclude NNPC and the central bank. And the reason being, NNPC, a national oil company, internationally, national oil companies are not included in the national budget. And also CBN is an autonomous body. So only those two are excluded. 60 government-owned enterprises are included. That is to say their revenue and all categories of expenditure are now integrated in the budget. So we have a total aggregate expenditure revenue of 7.89 trillion, and also an aggregate expenditure of 13.08 trillion for 2021. There is a fiscal deficit of 4.489 trillion. This represents 3.64%, slightly above what is required by the Fiscal Responsibility Act of 3%. And also to report that the total capital expenditure that is projected in the budget is 29% of the aggregate expenditure. This is an improvement over the 24% that we have in 2020, but slightly below the 30% that we targeted in the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan. I'd like to stop here and invite my colleagues to maybe add some more points. You're okay? Minister?
As the Honourable Minister stated earlier on, the overall budget implementation, expenditure-wise, as of July, was 92.3%. As she pointed out, items like debt service, personnel costs, pensions were performed at 100%. But the capital budget, as of that date, averaged 60% performance, and that's what then brought down the average to overall average to the 92%. As of that, every agency of government as of now has received at least 50% of their 2020 capital budget released to them. And indeed, despite the challenges of this year, this might be one year where we would record the highest level of capital budget performance for a while, which is also reflective of this, the switch to implementing our January to December fiscal year, and despite the interruptions of COVID-19.
Growth rate to be very, very ambitious. First, we have to use modeling approach, and this is done by NBS. When you consider the economic sustainability plan, which is also going to run for another 6 months next year, remember we have a 2.3 trillion stimulus. The economy too has also now been opened, or the lockdowns have been lifted, economic activities have picked up. And we have also selected some sectors in the economy that we are putting in a lot more money that will create activities and then the multiplier effect of it. Then in terms of funding of the budget, like HM mentioned, there is a deficit financing of 4.486. And we also expect that oil price is going to be much stable. Recall that the revised 2020 budget was at $28 per barrel. But now oil is averaging about 40 something dollars. And we have used an exchange rate that is higher, 379, benchmark of $40 per barrel. And then the production is also much better. So we expect to have more revenues to fund the budget. There's also a lot of improvement on our revenue generation. Even though we haven't gotten to where we want to be, but we have seen a steady increase in the revenue from 2018 to today, and we expect that trajectory to continue as we implement the strategic revenue and growth initiative.